Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Steelers front office must overrule Mike Tomlin's love interest in Nick Chubb. If there's one thing we know about Mike Tomlin, it's that he can't hide his interest in certain players around the league. From getting a close-up, first-hand look at players on the pre-draft scouting trail to witnessing opponents carve up his team on the football field, Tomlin forms a bias toward players he likes. Oftentimes, this results in the Steelers pursuing Tomlin's love interests in free agency or via trade, usually when a player is already past their prime. In recent years, Pittsburgh signed players like Miles Jack, Joe Schobert, and Patrick Peterson while trading for William Jackson III, the cornerback the Steelers were rumored to have drafted had he been on the board in the first round of the 2016 NFL Draft. Now Nick Chubb could be next in line. According to Jeff Hawthorne of 93.7 The Fan, there is interest in the Steelers organization in the Browns running back. On February 19, Tyler Dragon of USA Today listed Pittsburgh as the best fit for Chubb. In his heyday, Chubb was as good as any running back in the NFL. As recently as the 2022 season, Chubb earned his fourth straight Pro Bowl honors after racking up 1,525 rushing yards and 12 rushing touchdowns. Sadly, the prolific running back hasn't been the same since his season-ending knee injury in Week 2 of the 2023 season. Nick Chubb should be a hard pass for the Steelers. If Pittsburgh's interest in Chubb is true, we've run into another example of Mike Tomlin and the Steelers valuing past reputation over current performance. Since Chubb suffered a gruesome knee injury on a Minkah Fitzpatrick tackle early in 2023, the veteran running has averaged 3.3 yards per carry on 102 attempts. Chubb's 27.3% run success rate is even more concerning as this was nearly cut in half from what it was over most of his career. In addition to his extensive injury history and poor performance in 2024, Chubb has 1,340 NFL carries already under his belt as the workhorse running back for the Browns, and he turns 30 years old during the 2025 season. The Steelers were already an inefficient rushing team even with a former first-round running back on a rookie contract, Najee Harris, and an explosive change-up pace back in Jaylen Warren on a rookie deal. They can't afford to get older, slower, and more injury-prone at the running back position. The collection of these factors proves why the Steelers should steer clear of Nick Chubb. Pittsburgh's front office can't allow Mike Tomlin's interest in a once productive running back to make a poor roster decision in free agency. Former Broncos QB Russell Wilson gets unfortunate Steelers outlook. Unlike the Denver Broncos, the Pittsburgh Steelers are still looking for their franchise quarterback. That's been an issue for the Steelers since Ben Roethlisberger called it a career, and will continue to be until the team finds anyone. Russell Wilson played better for the Steelers in 2024 than he did during his short stint with the Broncos, but as all Denver fans know, he isn't an elite option at this stage of his career. At best, Wilson will give a team a few decent games here and there, and that isn't good enough for any team in most scenarios. Wilson, however, is a free agent, and his future with the Steelers is in question. Speaking on ESPN's Get Up, Kimberly Martin said she'd be shocked if he returns to Pittsburgh. "I would be very shocked," Martin said, according to Alex Kozora of Steelers Depot. "You know why? I think we saw the full scope of what Russell Wilson can offer you at this point. I'm not sure if the Steelers want to run that back. I think the Steelers need to be really clear about what direction they're going in, and I don't see Russell as part of that plan. So I would be shocked. The Steelers could give Justin Fields the keys to the franchise, but there are questions about his game, too. A few veterans are expected to be available and could be better options. Regarding Wilson, it's uncertain which team would want him if the Steelers go in a separate direction. New destination lurks to snag Russell Wilson away from Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers seem to be leaning increasingly toward Justin Fields as their quarterback in 2025. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler gave the latest update on Fields and the Steelers on Thursday, saying there is plenty of internal optimism that a deal will be made for Pittsburgh with Fields. Meanwhile, that would leave Russell Wilson on the outs, and lead to him having to find a new team. Yet, it seems there might be a market for him. Matt Bowen of ESPN believes that Wilson fits well with the New York Giants, And that fit could help unlock the best of Wilson's game this late into his career. Sitting at number 3 in the draft order, the Giants are in the mix to land a quarterback with their first-round pick this spring, Bowen wrote Tuesday. But adding Wilson would give them security heading into the draft. Because of his diminished mobility, Wilson isn't a natural creator at this stage. But Giants coach Brian Daboll can scheme for Wilson, using a play-action-heavy approach and setting him up on vertical throws. Wilson struggled over the last 5 games of the season but still put up 15 touchdowns to just 5 interceptions, bringing the offense to its highest peak. The Giants released Daniel Jones during the season and have no answer on the roster. Signing Wilson feels more like a win-now move than where they stand, but head coach Brian Daboll and general manager Joe Schoen are in a tough spot and have to make something happen to keep their jobs. If they believe that Wilson can be the needle mover, it is not crazy to think about that as his landing spot. Fowler also mentioned the Las Vegas Raiders, who hired Wilson's former head coach in Seattle, Pete Carroll, as another landing spot for the Steelers' signal caller. And are you a fan? What do you think of Ryan Clark's exit? Leave your opinion in the comments.